The Galactic Council had ruled the stars for thousands of years. Hundreds of species sat beneath its silver towers and obeyed its laws without question. The Council controlled trade routes, military zones, and planetary rights. Entire civilizations rose or collapsed because of a single vote from the Council chambers. Humans were the newest members. Most races considered them weak. Earth had only entered faster than light travel 80 years earlier. Their ships looked crude beside the elegant vessels of older empires. Their weapons lacked refinement. Their worlds were small and scattered. Still, humanity surprised many observers. Humans adapted quickly. They learned alien languages in months. They survived hostile environments that killed stronger races. They negotiated with patience and smiled even when insulted. That patience made the Council underestimate them. The trouble began on the mining world of Velis Prime. The planet sat near an unstable trade corridor rich with crystal fuel. For years, human workers operated peaceful mining stations there under Council supervision. Then the Dravian Empire arrived. The Dravians were feared across the galaxy. Tall and armored in black scales, they believed strength gave them the right to rule. Their fleets conquered weaker systems and forced smaller races into labor. The Council tolerated them because the Dravians controlled vital military routes. Commander Varek led the Dravian occupation of Velis Prime. He demanded full ownership of the mines and ordered all human crews to leave within 48 hours. The humans refused. The mining colonies belonged to Earth under Council treaty. Families had lived there for decades. Children were born beneath Velis Prime's artificial skies. The settlers stood their ground and requested legal protection from the Council. The Council delayed its answer. Varek saw weakness. He ordered an assault. Dravian soldiers stormed the mining stations without warning. Habitats exploded across the frozen plains. Emergency beacons screamed through the dark. Hundreds of workers died before rescue ships could even launch. The survivors broadcast desperate messages toward Earth. The Council watched the recordings in silence. Burned stations drifted through space. Mothers carried injured children through smoke-filled corridors. Human engineers tried sealing ruptured hulls with their bare hands while Dravian cruisers fired from orbit. Even then, the Council hesitated. Several delegates feared angering the Dravian Empire. Others argued that humanity was too small to matter. The Council issued a weak statement calling for restraint on both sides. Earth received the message 3 days later. Every colony heard it. Every human world saw the bodies floating above Velis Prime. For the first time in generations, humanity stopped arguing among itself. Old rival nations united within hours. Political rivals shook hands. Military leaders opened sealed arsenals. Factories across Earth began operating day and night. The Council mistook the silence for surrender. They were wrong. Deep beneath the mountains of Luna Base, Admiral Jonas entered a chamber hidden from foreign observers. Inside rested humanity's forbidden fleet. The fleet had never appeared in any Council record. For decades, while humanity smiled and traded peacefully, secret shipyards worked in darkness. Human leaders understood one lesson from their violent past. Peace only survived when protected by strength. The hidden fleet was that strength. Massive warships rose from underground docks like sleeping giants waking from a nightmare. Their armor carried no symbols. Their engines burned blue instead of white. Rail cannons longer than city streets unfolded toward the stars. Admiral Jonas stood before the fleet commanders with a cold expression. "The Council abandoned our people," he said. "Velis Prime burns while they debate procedure. No more speeches. No more requests. Bring our people home." The fleet departed 1 hour later. No diplomatic signal announced their movement. No warning reached the Dravian Empire. Human ships crossed the border at impossible speed. Their engines used experimental drives the Council believed impossible to stabilize. Defense satellites failed to track them until they were already inside Dravian territory. Panic spread through enemy command stations. At the edge of Velis Prime, Commander Varek prepared for another assault against the remaining settlements. Then his scanners detected hundreds of incoming contacts. Human warships emerged from hyperspace in perfect formation. Varric laughed at first. He expected desperate rescue attempts from frightened survivors. Then the human fleet opened fire. Blue beams crossed space like lightning. Dravian destroyers vanished before their shields could react. Entire squadrons disappeared in seconds. Human rail cannons punched through armor and shattered ships from the inside. The battle ended in 11 minutes. Varric barely escaped aboard his flagship. Human marines landed across Velis Prime immediately after the battle. They evacuated survivors, secured hospitals, and recovered the dead with silent discipline. Every soldier moved with terrifying focus. But humanity was not finished. Admiral Jonas transmitted one message across all military channels. Leave our worlds and surrender those responsible. This is your final warning. The Dravian Emperor responded with laughter. He called humans emotional animals pretending to be civilized. He promised to crush Earth within a month. The Council supported negotiations once again. Then humanity unleashed its wrath. 3 days later, human fleets struck every major Dravian military base simultaneously. Communication arrays exploded before distress calls escaped. Orbital stations vanished beneath coordinated bombardments. Supply lines collapsed overnight. Human strategy shocked every observer. They attacked with precision instead of rage. Civilian targets remained untouched. Food transports passed safely through battle zones. Medical stations received protection signals from human ships. Only military forces faced destruction. The Dravian Empire had ruled through fear for centuries. No enemy had ever penetrated their borders so deeply. Entire admirals surrendered after witnessing human tactics. One council observer described the campaign with a single sentence. They fight like a species that survived hell before reaching the stars. That statement spread quickly. The truth frightened everyone. As the war continued, hidden parts of human history became public. Alien historians discovered records long ignored by the Council. Humanity had survived global wars, nuclear disasters, engineered plagues, economic collapse, and centuries of internal conflict before uniting beneath one government. Humans came from a death world. Predators once hunted them across ancient forests. Natural disasters shaped their civilizations. Their history was filled with brutal lessons about survival. Most advanced species achieved peace early in their development. Humanity achieved peace only after nearly destroying itself. Now, the galaxy faced a united version of that species. Dravian fleets continued losing territory. Human cyber units crippled defense systems before invasions even began. Stealth ships appeared inside secured sectors without explanation. Entire military academies failed to predict human movements. Then came the siege of Karath. Karath was the Dravian capital world and one of the strongest fortress planets in known space. Orbital cannons surrounded the planet in endless rings. Millions of soldiers defended the surface. The Council believed the siege would last years. Humanity ended it in 2 days. Admiral Jonas surrounded the planet and disabled its communication grid. Instead of bombarding civilian cities, human forces targeted military power generators hidden beneath the oceans. The planetary shield collapsed. Human drop ships descended through the atmosphere like falling meteors. Dravian defenses fired endlessly but could not stop them. Human soldiers fought through the capital with terrifying determination. Every hour brought another surrender. Finally, Emperor Tau emerged from his palace beneath a white flag. The ruler who once mocked humanity now stood defeated before the cameras of the entire galaxy. The recording became legendary. Emperor Tau demanded to know why humans fought with such relentless fury. Admiral Jonas answered without emotion, "Because you burned families alive while the Council watched." The transmission reached every inhabited world. Silence followed. The Galactic Council gathered in emergency session immediately afterward. Delegates who once dismissed humanity now stared at casualty reports with horror. The Dravian Empire had lost 70% of its military in less than 3 weeks. No civilization in modern history had ever moved so fast. No species had ever hidden such power from the Council. Fear spread through the chamber. Some delegates argued that humanity must be stopped before it became unstoppable. Others warned that provoking humans further would destroy the fragile peace of the galaxy. And the chamber doors opened. Human representatives entered quietly. No guards escorted them. None were needed. Ambassador Elena walked toward the center platform, while hundreds of alien leaders watched nervously. She wore simple black clothing without medals or decorations. The council speaker attempted formal greetings, but Elena interrupted him. When Velis Prime burned, you debated procedure, she said calmly. When children died, you discussed politics. Humanity remembers that. No one answered. The chamber remained completely silent. Elena continued. Humans did not come here seeking conquest. We came seeking partnership. We shared medicine, technology, and trade routes. In return, the council abandoned our people because confronting the Dravians felt inconvenient. Several delegates lowered their eyes. You believe kindness meant weakness, Elena said. You believe patience meant fear. Now you understand the difference. The council speaker finally found his voice. What does humanity demand? Elena looked across the chamber slowly. Justice, recognition of sovereign rights, protection for smaller systems, and a warning. The air itself seemed tense. If another species slaughters innocent humans while this council hides behind procedure, the response will be far worse next time. No delegate challenged her. No one dared. Outside the chamber windows, human warships floated silently above the council world. Their blue engines glowed against the darkness like cold stars. The galaxy had changed forever. In the months that followed, the Dravian Empire collapsed completely. Occupied worlds gained independence under human protection. Trade routes reopened. Refugees returned home safely. Surprisingly, humanity claimed no conquered territory. That confused many alien leaders. Most victorious empires expanded after war. Humans did the opposite. They rebuilt damaged systems and withdrew their fleets once stability returned. Slowly, fear turned into respect. Species once ignored by the Council began seeking alliances with Earth. Human engineers helped rebuild shattered colonies. Human doctors treated survivors from every side of the conflict, including wounded Dravian civilians. The galaxy struggled to understand them. Humans could unleash terrifying destruction, yet they also showed compassion even toward former enemies. One elderly council historian finally explained it best during a public broadcast. Humanity learned 2 lessons from its violent past. First, evil grows when good people stay silent. Second, strength without mercy becomes tyranny. They carry both lessons into every battle. Years later, Velis Prime became a memorial world. The destroyed mining stations remained untouched beneath protective shields. Visitors from across the galaxy traveled there to remember the war that changed interstellar history. At the center of the memorial stood a single message carved into black stone. When humanity asked for justice, the galaxy answered with silence. When humanity answered with wrath, the galaxy finally listened. Every visitor stopped to read those words. Every delegate remembered the shame of that moment. And every empire understood one truth forever afterward. Humanity preferred peace. But when pushed too far, humanity became something the stars themselves feared.